Newcastle disease is an avian viral infection. It has no cure and spreads very fast from infected birds to uninfected birds that have not been vaccinated. It has a mortality of up to 100%. Sign number 1: twisting of the neck and staggering while in motion. Newcastle disease affects the central nervous system, CNS. The central nervous system is the path for signal relay by the brain to the limbs and eardrum. This facilitates motion and balance respectively. Sign number 2: deformed eggs, light shells, watery albumen, unstable yolk, and decline in egg production. Newcastle disease also affects egg production, and one of the main challenges is a farmer will not be able to realize that it's Newcastle disease that has affected the flock. Why? Because the egg production goes down and one cannot be able to understand why. But with velogenic Newcastle, it is very severe. So for example, these are normal eggs. The shell is hard and the egg is normal. These are normal eggs. The shell is hard and it's round, the way it ought to be. So this is for an egg. This is for a bird that has been laying for quite a long time. It's in its final stages of laying, and these are eggs for birds that have just started laying. You can see the shells are very hard, and the shape is regular. It's an oval egg. But for a bird that has been affected by Newcastle disease, the shell appears to be irregular and appears to be very light. So for the case of a light shell, an egg can be laid and it is in this state. It's very watery. So this is how an egg would appear. In very rare cases, we can have an egg being laid without a shell, very shellless eggs, and this is a very common sign of Newcastle disease. When the eggs are laid without a shell, such as this egg, there is a shellless egg. It cannot take any shape. It's a seamless egg. This is a very common sign of Newcastle disease. So then when the flock has been heavily infested by the disease, actually there is now no laying of shellless eggs. Then the bird will just lay some protein, a float of protein in form of meat, something close to a meat piece like this. So basically a bird will move from this is an early stage. This is an early stage. So this is an early stage. As the disease persists, then it goes to laying such an egg. As the disease persists again, it will then lay such an egg. It will lay such an egg. Then with the severity of the disease without control, if it happens not to be a little bit resistant, but not very resistant, it then goes to this stage, and then finally it will begin laying a piece of meat. At this stage, the bird will only survive for a few weeks and die. This means this is a bird that has been being vaccinated since inception, or since the early stages, that has been a carrier all along of the disease. So then we go into finer details of analyzing the shell, the inner content of the eggs. So then I have my eggs here. I have my eggs here. These are the Newcastle disease eggs. It's a yolk of a normal egg. It is a stable yolk. It's in the center. This is the albumen, and this is the yolk. So this is the albumen, and this is the yolk. So this is a normal egg. But then this one, the albumen is separated. It's separable. It's separable like water, and it's watery. So this is like basically it's water, and the yolk is like water. So that is some of the signs of NCD. You can collect the yolk. All right.
Sign number 3: tremors, weakness, and penguin stature. This is a very common characteristic in layers, especially those that have newly started laying. Limb joints are completely paralyzed, thus they are unable to move. The bird appears to be seated on its rear and moves as though a penguin. Sign number 4: partial paralysis. Mostly, one leg is paralyzed, but its tissue nervous system is partially functioning. It is a common characteristic in birds previously vaccinated but infected by a different strain of Newcastle disease virus. It is also a common trait in birds that have been vaccinated and they are recovering. Complete paralysis. The leg is fully paralyzed since its nervous system is completely dead. The leg appears as though a withering or drying stick. The bird moves by hopping on one leg. Sign number 6: immobility. Both legs and wings are paralyzed. The bird cannot stand and walk, neither can it use its wings for balance. It appears lying on its belly all along. Sign number 7: depression. The bird appears to be in a seated position and as though dozing all the time with one or two eyes closed. Sign number 8: gasping, coughing, and ocular. Number 9: diarrhea. The birds are characterized by a watery diarrhea. For you to be able to diagnose Newcastle, unlike other diarrheas, you will then be needed to look at the stool. The stool appears to be dark green in color and sometimes bloody.
I hope you've learned something. Subscribe to the link. More videos to come. In our next video, we shall learn about the feed requirement per bird, per day, per age, per breed. Thank you.